All right, so today how I'm going to start is I'm going to teach you one simple vocabulary word, okay? But I'm going to teach you one simple vocabulary word in Turkish. All right, so in Turkish, all right, so okay. Everyone look here carefully, okay? Okay, listen to me, okay? Evil Hayvan.
Evil Hayvan.
Good. Listen again. Evil Hayvan.
Evil Hayvan.
Good.
Evil Hayvan.
Good.
Evil Hayvan.
Good.
Evil Hayvan.
Good. All right. All right. Everybody understand?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Can you write down what an evil Hayvan is in English for me, please?
EVCIO?
Yeah. It is the spelling in Turkish. Okay. Can you just write down what you think it is?
Looks like you.
Yeah.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you that exact same word again, but I'm going to do it in a different way this time. All right, so okay, I'm just going to erase that for a moment. Okay. All right, so okay, once again, okay, everybody, this is an evil Hayvan. Everybody?
Evil Hayvan.
Good. Can you say that for me?
Evil Hayvan.
Good. What about you?
Evil Hayvan.
Good. All right. Now, I have some questions for you, okay? Can a cat be a kind of evil Hayvan?
No.
Okay. Actually, yes. A cat can be a kind of evil Hayvan, okay? Can a hamster be an evil Hayvan?
Yes.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it can. A cat can be an evil Hayvan, okay? Can a bird, like a parrot, be an evil Hayvan?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay. What about a tiger? Can a tiger be an evil Hayvan?
No.
No.
No. Okay, cannot. What about a cow? Can a cow be an evil Hayvan?
No.
No. Okay, you're right, it can't. Do evil Hayvans live in the forest?
No.
No.
No. Okay. Do they live in the jungle?
No.
No.
No. Okay. Where do they normally live?
In their house.
In a house. Okay. Do they hunt for their food?
No.
No. Okay. So who feeds the evil Hayvans?
People.
The owner.
The owners, people. Okay, let me just ask you those questions one more time, okay? Can a cat be an evil Hayvan?
Yes.
Yes. What about a hamster?
Yes.
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 Okay. Can a bird like a parrot be an evil Hayvan?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Can a tiger be an evil Hayvan?
No.
No. Can a cow be an evil Hayvan?
No.
No. Okay. Do they live in the forest?
No.
No. Do they live in the jungle?
No.
No.
Okay. Where do they normally live?
House.
In a house.
In a house. Okay. Do they hunt for their food?
No.
No. Who feeds them?
Owners.
The owners. Okay, the people. All right. Now, can you write down what you think an evil Hayvan is? All right. So, just so you know, an evil Hayvan is this, a pet. Okay. So in my first demonstration, okay, how many of you wrote down that an evil Hayvan was a pet? Anybody? Nobody.
No.
No. Okay. But why? I asked you if you understood. I said, do you understand? And you said yes. But obviously, you didn't understand. Okay. Why did you say that you understood when you obviously didn't understand?
Okay, we showed us the picture and I thought it was what I saw. And
Oh,
I
okay.
saw a small dog, which is a puppy.
Okay.
So-
Exactly. So, so you thought you understood.
Yeah. I didn't think about the collar. That the dog is a pet.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So you thought you understood, and I, as the teacher, thought that you understood as well.
Yeah.
But actually, you understood A when I was teaching you B. Okay, so we're on two completely different pages. Okay, that's one problem with asking the question, do you understand? But there's another problem asking that question. If you ask a group of students, do you understand, what is the response that you're going to get 95% of the time?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now why are students going to say yes, even if they don't understand?
They're afraid of being ridiculized.
Right.
Okay, yeah, they'll feel embarrassed,
Yeah.
okay?
They don't want to be the stupid student or the weak student in the class.
Exactly. They don't want to be the stupid, they don't want to be the weak student in the class. Now, this is very much a human nature thing. I can tell you from my own personal experience, I was taking a course once in Stock Exchange in Lima, and every Saturday I had a different teacher. Okay? And one Saturday in particular, the teacher was horrible. It was very bad explaining things, and I actually saw two people that were in the class, a couple, a husband and a wife, or a boyfriend and a girlfriend. At one point, when he had his back turned and he was writing on the board, they looked at each other like this. Like, what? What the hell is he talking about?
Yeah.
And I didn't understand what he was talking about either. And then he turned around, he asked the class, any questions? Everybody understand? Any doubts? Silence from the class. Those two people didn't say anything, and I didn't say anything either, even though I knew that I wasn't the only one who didn't understand. I knew that there were at least two other people that didn't understand. But I didn't want to put up my hand and be the one that said, I don't understand. It's human nature. Now, sometimes teachers have asked me, what about us in the individual class? They'll tell you, I don't understand. No, not always. I just want to tell you a quick anecdote. I remember I had a teacher that went on holidays. I sent another teacher to teach her class for 1 week. After the week, she took back her class. She came to me and she said, Joel, can you do me a favor? Can you make sure that if I ever go on holidays again, please don't send that teacher to teach that class? I said, why? She said, the student said she couldn't understand a word that the teacher said to her. And whenever he asked her a question, she just said, yes. Now, even though it was a one-on-one class with just one student, she wasn't brave enough to say to the teacher, I don't understand you. You're speaking too fast. Okay? Again, it's human nature. Okay? How effective is the question, do you understand in the classroom? Is it an effective question to check if the students understand? No. Okay, exactly. For the two reasons I've just explained to you. Okay? The students might understand one thing when you're teaching another, or the students may not understand, and they just may not want to say that they don't understand. Now, when I did my second demonstration, how many of you wrote the word pet in my second demonstration? Can I get a show of hands? Okay, everybody. Okay. How were you all able to get pet the second time around for Abel Hyben? How were you able to do it this time?
Well, you gave us questions that created more of a context.
Okay, absolutely. With all of those questions that I asked you, okay, you were able to work out what the meaning of an Abel Hyben was. Okay? That is what the topic of today's class is, and it's something which is called concept checking. Now, concept checking is a very fancy, okay, English as a second language terminology, okay, to explain when you're checking if the students have understood or not. Okay, it's basically a form of checking understanding. Okay. Now, concept checking can be done in several different ways. Okay, one is doing exactly what I did. Okay, is asking a series of simple questions. Now, with those questions that I asked you, what were the answers to the majority of the questions?
Yes or no?
Yes or no.
Yeah.
Good, okay? So you want to keep the questions simple with concept checking. You don't want them long, drawn out, complicated. Yes, no, or one or two word answers is all you want. Okay? But this isn't the only way to concept check. Okay? You can also, okay, get students to give you example sentences. This also helps to show you if the students have understood or not. So for example, imagine I was going to teach the students although. Okay? And my sentence that I was going to use to check if you understood was, let's use this one. I love my wife, although. Okay? I love my wife, although. Steve, can you give me a logical ending to that sentence?
I love my wife, although sometimes she drives me crazy.
Although sometimes she drives me crazy. Okay. George, can you give me another logical ending to that sentence?
I love my wife, although she's a horrible person.
She's a horrible person. Okay, absolutely. Okay. So by doing things like this as well, you can see if the students understand. If they're all giving you the correct answer, it shows you that they've understood the language that you're teaching them. Okay. All right. Now, there's another thing that you can do in the classroom as well. Okay. You can get students to use real people or things to show that they understand. For example, imagine that you're teaching the word blonde hair and you explain to the class, okay, blonde hair is yellow hair. Okay? How can you get the students to show you that they understand the meaning of blonde hair? What can they do?
Does anyone in this room have blonde hair?
Or
Okay.
any celebrity that has blonde hair.
Madonna.
Exactly, okay, so maybe they can point at somebody in the class and say, this person has blonde hair, okay, over there. Or they can mention a celebrity, they can say Pamela Anderson has blonde hair, okay, Susie Diaz has blonde hair here in Peru.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so in order to show that they've understood the meaning of blonde hair. Okay. Now, concept checking, these are ways of concept checking, but concept checking also has its uses as well. Okay? One is to check and see if students have understood the vocabulary. Okay, here's one. The same as I did with you with Abel Hyven, pet. Okay, another, okay, to check and see if students have understood the grammar. Okay, now students can get grammar confused just as easily as vocabulary. You were thinking dog or puppy instead of pet. Students can think that you're teaching them the present continuous and think that it's exactly the same as the present simple. They can get confused between two different grammar points as well. Okay? And the third use of it is to check and see if the students have understood instructions. This is equally important as well. Okay? Obviously, sometimes there are great activities that you can do with a class, but if half of the class understands what they're supposed to do, and the other class, half of the class understands something else, the whole activity is going to go to hell. Okay? Because some people are going to be doing one thing, other students are going to be doing others. Perhaps it's an activity where the students have to stand up and communicate to each other. And half of the class is sitting down, and the other half of the class is standing up, and some of them are writing, and some of them aren't writing. You know, it can be a disaster. Not because the activity isn't a good activity, it's because the teacher didn't check that the students understood the instructions. Okay? Now, when you're asking students the concept checking questions, okay, with these here, asking a series of simple questions, if the student's level of English here, are the questions that you ask them going to be up here or down here?
Down there.
Down here, exactly, okay? You need to make sure that the concept checking questions that you ask them are below their level, because you want them to understand the questions that you're asking them. You don't want them to get lost in any of the questions that you're asking them, okay? I also want to mention, okay, with the concept checking questions that I asked, you notice that I used the word Evelhaven in almost every single one of my questions. Okay, it's a good idea if you're teaching vocabulary, for example, or concept checking vocabulary, is to use the actual target word in as many of the all of the questions if you possibly can. Okay. All right. What I'm going to do is show you the questions that I asked you about the Evelhaven for a moment. Okay. About the pets. Am I free to erase my board?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So I want to look at concept checking vocabulary. This is the first thing that I want to look at here. Okay. Now, when I showed you this picture the first time and I didn't ask you any concept checking questions, what did you write down?
Puppy.
Puppy.
Dog.
Tell me you write puppy, dog. Okay, so puppy and dog probably were the main two things that you wrote down, right? Okay. So that could have been one possibility, okay? Puppy, dog, maybe animal. Okay, is also possible, isn't it? You could have thought that as well. Okay. Now let's look. Now when you're asking concept checking questions, what you need to do is eliminate any area of confusion from the student's mind. So based on the picture that I had, you could have thought that an Evelhaven, instead of meaning pet, meant a puppy, a dog, or an animal. Okay, so I had to make sure that I eliminated those possibilities from your mind. In my concept checking questions, okay, with which question did I eliminate puppy as a possibility?
Tiger.
First one.
Yeah, the very first one.
The first question, wasn't it?
Oh, no.
Yep.
Can a cat be a kind of Evelhaven? Yes. Ooh.
Oh, there's
If a cat can be an Evelhaven, then it can't be a puppy,
It can be.
Can be a dog.
and it can't be a dog. Okay, but it still doesn't eliminate animal yet. Okay. With which question did I eliminate animal, as a possibility?
Can a bird like a parrot?
And a tiger.
Can a tiger? Can a tiger be an Evelhaven? Because the answer was no. Ooh, but a tiger is an animal. Okay, so it can't be an animal either. And then what I did is with all of the other questions that I asked you, I just kept narrowing it down and narrowing it down until the only possibility in your mind could be pet and nothing else. This is what you need to do, okay, when you're asking concept checking questions. Now it's important in the concept checking questions that you do not use any words that the students may get confused with in the questions. For example, you cannot say something like, is a dog an Evelhaven? Or a pet, for that matter, if we were just teaching them in English, okay? Because, actually, let me just put it here in pet. Let's just keep it in English, okay? Is a dog a pet? Because if I say to the students, pet, 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 okay, and they're thinking dog, do they know the word dog in English? Obviously not, because if I'm saying pet and they're thinking that's a dog, they think that pet means dog in their language, right? So it's the same as going, is a blah 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 a pet? I'm not helping them to understand at all. Okay? Okay, so you don't want to use any words that can be possibly confused with in your questions, okay? All right. But you do want to try to use the word that you're teaching in the questions. If you look at all of those questions there, I use the word Evelhaven in every single question. Is an Evelhaven this? Is it this? Does it do this? Where does an Evelhaven live? Okay, in all of my questions. All right, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to present to you 3 vocabulary words. But I'm going to present to you the 3 vocabulary words badly, on purpose. Okay? And I want you to think to yourself, what could those vocabulary words be confused with in the student's mind based on my poor presentation? Okay? All right, so here they are. Okay, my 3 words. Okay, everybody, look at this. Thumb. Okay, the first. The second, okay, look. Starving. The last, Okay, everyone look. Okay. Housewife. All right. Well, I'll stop there for a moment, okay? What I want you to do is in your pairs, can you think of some other words that the students may get confused with these words, okay? In your pairs. So the same way as that you thought a pet was a dog, try and think what the student might confuse these words with, okay? So you two, and you two, okay?
So yours.
How can a housewife
Maybe
be starving?
hungry. Yeah.
Hey, Joe, how can a housewife be starving?
No woman.
Mix the two together. All right, so let's see what you think, okay? Now, based on my presentation of thumb, which was this, thumb, okay? What could the students get confused with? What else might they think thumb means?
Good.
Good, okay, absolutely.
Up.
Up, sure, you know, because I'm pointing up, okay? Anything else?
Finger.
Finger, sure. Okay. Is the word for toes the same in Spanish as in fingers?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is, okay. So, you know, they might get confused maybe with toes as well, okay, because it's the same. What about in starving, okay? Remember my presentation of starving was this? Okay.
Stomach.
What else could they think?
Hungry.
Stomachache.
Stomach ache, okay. Anything else?
Hungry.
Hungry, sure. Okay, hungry is very similar to starving, okay, but it isn't exactly the same, okay? What about housewife? What could they get confused there with?
Maid.
Ironing.
A maid, sure, okay. What else?
Ironing.
Ironing, okay, yeah, the act of ironing.
Housework.
Or housework, exactly, okay, more general even than ironing. Okay, so what I want you to do now is back in your pairs again. I want you to think of some concept checking questions which eliminate these possibilities. Okay. And at the same time, narrow it down so the only thing in the student's mind can be thumb, starving, and housewife, nothing else. Okay, so can you, in pairs, try and make up some questions?
What's that? Is it
I think thumb, you could have a thumb,
Is
a
it not
particle
the opposite
size
of
finger.
evil? No, bad. Not evil, but bad. Maybe.
That one name's good enough.
Is
Yeah, thumb, yeah, on your hand or your foot, yeah.
They don't know this one. That's the idea. They don't know thumbs.
Direction.
So you.
All right. So let's have a look and see what kind of concept checking questions that you were able to come up with, okay? So for example, here with thumb, could you think of any questions that could eliminate good or up as possibilities?
Is it a part of your body?
Okay, is it a part of your body? Good, okay, that's going to eliminate those, okay? What about for toes?
Is it part of your hand?
Is it a part of your hand? Okay, absolutely, okay, that's going to eliminate that. What about with fingers?
how many thumbs do you have?
How many thumbs do you have? Okay, and the answer is going to be 2. Okay, so that's going to eliminate that. Okay, but they might think thumb means maybe, you know, not necessarily these two. It can be any. It could be any two. Can you think of any way to guarantee that they know the meaning of the word thumb?
Can you show me your thumb?
Can you show me your thumb? Would
Yes.
probably be the most logical way.
Which one did I show you? So you showed this one.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Now with starving, okay, how could I eliminate stomach ache?
Are you sick?
Are you sick? Good. So if you're starving, are you sick? Okay, because you're not sick. Okay. Now what about hungry? Any idea for this one? Now they're very similar, right?
They are.
Okay, so it's quite hard. Any ideas for this one?
Are you very hungry?
Okay. No, but then they're using hungry there, right? So what I would probably do, okay, is maybe something like this, you know. If you haven't eaten breakfast, okay, are you starving? If you hadn't eaten for 3 days, are you starving? Okay, something like that in order to show the difference, because it has to do a lot with how much time you've gone without food, normally with starving, okay? What about here with maid? Okay, how could we eliminate maid as a possibility?
Does the housewife get paid?
Does a housewife get paid? Good. Does she receive a salary? Okay, that's going to eliminate that. What about ironing and housework?
Is a housework an activity?
Okay, it's housework and activity. Good. Okay. Now, how can we narrow it down so they understand what a housewife is? Any idea? Okay, so they know that she doesn't get a salary and it's not an activity, it's a person. Any ideas?
Does she live in the house?
Yeah.
Yeah, does she live in the house? Exactly, okay. And what types of things does a housewife do?
Clean.
Clean, take care of the kids, right? So you could say, does a housewife take care of the children?
Or the
Does a housewife clean, right? So that's going to help them as well. Okay. Now these are the ones that the questions that I managed to come up with. Okay, they're very similar to what you guys managed to come up with. All right, so I've got here thumbs. Okay, showing my fingers. Are these thumbs? Going like this. Okay. Pointing at my toes. Are these thumbs? How many thumbs do you have? Okay, 2. Can you show me your thumbs? Okay, to completely guarantee that they've understood thumbs. Starving. Do I need to eat or drink? Okay, do I need any medicine or pills? Have I eaten some bad food? Okay, all of those are going to eliminate stomachache. If it's midday and I missed breakfast, am I starving? How long ago did I eat? Okay, obviously starving. I ate a long time ago. Housewife. Is a housewife a person? Does she cook and clean? Does she work in her house or in another person's house? Does she receive a salary? Okay? I'm not saying that these are the only right answers. These are the ones that I managed to come up with. Okay? The important thing is that you eliminate any possible room for confusion from the student's mind and that you narrow it down so the only possibility in the student's mind can be this and they're not thinking anything else. Now sometimes teachers ask me, well, what about translation as a form of concept checking? Okay? What if I say, you know, if I'm teaching the word invite, okay, and the student says invite is invitar, okay? Does that show me that the student understands the meaning of invite?
No.
No. Okay. Is invite in English exactly the same as invitar in Spanish?
No.
It isn't. Okay. And there are many words in Spanish and English that are not exactly the same. I'm just going to tell you a quick anecdote. Okay. I remember I was in Spain, I was in Europe, sorry, and I was traveling around and I met a girl from Spain. We started traveling together to different places and we met a group of Swedes. And one of the Swedes said to us, we'll invite you to the coffee shop, which is around the corner with us. So fine. We went to the coffee shop, we had a coffee, and after having the coffee, the bill arrived. And I started reaching for my wallet to pay the bill. And Natalia, the girl I was with, said, no, you can't pay, okay? Gustav invited us. Gustav is going to pay. Gustav went, what the hell? I didn't say I was going to pay. I didn't say I was paying. When did I say I was paying? No. You invited us. How can it be that you invite us here and then we drink the coffee and the bill arrives and now you're not going to pay it? What kind of a person are you? She got really angry with him and basically became like a scandal in the restaurant. Everyone was looking at her. I had to stop and explain to her the difference between invite in English and invite in Spanish. And of course, afterwards, she felt very embarrassed. Okay? Because in Spanish, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? You can correct me if I'm wrong, okay? But when you invite, invitar, it means you pay, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay? But in this particular context, the verb invite meant more like to accompany. Okay? You invite somebody in English, something, okay? Invite somebody to some place, okay? It means that, okay? It doesn't function the same. For example, Steve, is it possible to say in English, can you invite me a cookie?
No.
No. But Patricia, is it possible in Spanish to say, can you invite me a cookie?
In Spanish.
In Spanish, yes.
It would be
It's
like
all right.
in English, the cookie's on me.
Right, exactly, something like this. So it has a different meaning, okay? Now, of course, Natalia afterwards told me, she said, when my teacher taught me English, the teacher just told me, invite is invitar. And it causes a major moment of embarrassment for this poor girl on her trip, okay? So unless you are 110% sure that there's absolutely no meaning in there's no difference in meaning between Spanish and English, which means that you are one hell of a bilingual, don't ever use translation as a form of concept checking in the classroom. Okay? The only time I possibly could let you or recommend doing it maybe is if you're trying to explain like a watermelon and you don't have a picture of a watermelon. Okay, I think you're safe to say that a watermelon is a sandia. Okay? But with most words and verbs and actions, okay, avoid using it because you are not checking if the students understand or not. All right, well, I want to move on to concept checking grammar next, okay? For past experience. So I give them this example, okay? He's been to Chile, okay? He's been to Chile, all right? Now imagine, okay, I have a couple of concept checking questions. Imagine my concept checking questions are the following, okay? Okay, did he go to Chile in the past? Okay. Is he still in Chile now? Okay, so imagine those are my two concept checking questions for this grammar point. He's been to Chile, okay? Did he go to Chile in the past? Is he still in Chile now? Are those two questions enough to confirm that the students have understood the meaning of he's been to Chile? What do you think?
No.
Okay. Some of you know, some of you yes. Okay.
He went to Chile.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, exactly. Let's have a look at this. Let me put here under. Okay. He went to Chile. Okay. All right. Let's look with this one. Okay. He's been to Chile. Okay. Did he go to Chile in the past? What's the answer?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. He's been to Chile. Is he still in Chile now?
No.
No. Let's look at this one here. He went to Chile. Okay, maybe we'll add last year or something like that here. Okay, let's look at this. He went to Chile. Did he go to Chile in the past? What's the answer?
Yes.
Okay. Is he still in Chile now?
No.
No. Okay. It's exactly the same answer. Okay. So these two questions are not enough. The students could think that he's been to Chile is exactly the same as saying he went to Chile. It's just another way of expressing the past tense, which we don't want. However, what if I add a couple more questions? Okay. What if I add these two questions? Okay. When did he go to Chile? And is it possible to say, okay, he's been to Chile last year? Okay. Let's look at these two. Okay. Now with this one here, he's been to Chile. Okay. When did he go to Chile? What's the answer? No, with this one.
Oh, we don't know.
We don't know, okay? Is it possible to say he's been to Chile last year?
No.
No. Okay. So with these two additional questions, it helps the students to be able to differentiate between the present perfect and the past simple. Because obviously in the past simple, you can say he went to Chile last year. So the students will see this and go, he's been to Chile last year. Oh, you can't say that? Okay. It isn't the same as the past simple. Okay, this is another grammar point that has a different meaning than the past simple. And it'll help the students to understand and avoid that confusion with the students of thinking the present perfect is exactly the same as the past simple. All right, well, once again, with concept checking grammar, you want to make sure that you don't use the target grammar in your concept checking questions. For example, in this, what is the target grammar?
He has been.
He's been, present perfect, okay? Exactly. Okay. Okay. So obviously, you don't want to use the present perfect in any of your questions, okay? Because if you want to see if the students understand the present perfect, you can't be asking them questions in the present perfect, because you're going to be asking them questions up here, okay? You want to make sure, especially if you're teaching them the present perfect for the first time, that the questions are down here, and that you don't use the target language in any of the questions, okay? All right, let's have a look at something here. Let me hand this out to you. All right, let's have a look at this, okay? The sentence in bold at the top, okay, is the grammar that the teacher is teaching, okay? What is the target grammar that the teacher is teaching here?
Might.
Might, okay? So he's teaching might, okay? Now, we have 5 different concept checking questions here, okay? Which concept checking question of these 5 is just a bad concept checking question?
Does he like to?
Where might he go?
Where might he go?
yeah.
Good. Now, why is that a bad concept checking question?
You're using
Because
the
it's
target.
a phrase. that-
Good. It contains the target grammar. Exactly. Okay. And you don't want to use the target grammar. Now, there's one sentence, one concept checking question here as well. That's not a bad question, but it's just irrelevant. It doesn't help the students to understand. Which question is that?
Does he
Does he
like?
like the cinema?
Does he like the cinema? Okay, that doesn't help the students to understand the meaning of might whatsoever. However, the other questions help the students to understand. Okay, is he definitely going to the cinema? So they can see that this is different from, like, will or going to. Okay, does this refer to the present or the future? Okay, as well, it helps the students understand it refers to the future. And does this refer to a possibility? Obviously, that's the main idea behind might, right? Might is talking about a future possibility that isn't definitely going to happen. Okay, and those 3 questions cover that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a handout, and there are some sentences here in bold with target grammar, okay? And they have some sentences. I want you to write next to these concept checking questions, okay? G, if the questions are good, okay? B, if the questions are bad, and I, if they're just irrelevant, okay? They don't help the students to understand, okay? So in your pairs again,
Yeah, it's kind of irrelevant, right?
What do you
Good also, right? She wishes.
She should have gone his Is it raining?
yeah, just write G if the good, B if the bad.
It's a good one. Does she wish she
What
does
does
she wish
she
she
wishes?
target grammar?
Yeah, that's bad.
She wishes she had brought
Does she have a ring? She should also have a ring. Does she have some real secret now?
All right, so let's have a look. It looks like you're all finished now. Okay, let's have a look and see what you think. Okay, she should see a doctor. What's the target grammar?
Should.
Should. Okay, absolutely. Okay, what about the first question? Is he sick? What do you think?
Good.
It's a good question. Absolutely. Okay, because normally you're not going to say to somebody you should see a doctor if they're perfectly healthy, right? Okay. What about the next? When did she last see a doctor? It's irrelevant. It doesn't help anything. Okay. What should she do?
Bad.
Bad. Why is it bad?
You're using the target grammar.
You're using the target grammar. Good. Okay. Is it a good idea for her to see a doctor?
It's good.
It's a good question. Okay. Is this a suggestion or an order?
Good.
It's also good. Okay. Because should obviously expresses good ideas, and the last one is useful because so they don't confuse it with must, which is more like an order. Okay.
Obligation.
Like an obligation, exactly. Okay, let's look at the next one. What is the target grammar, number 2? Wishes. Okay. So what about the first one? Does she have an umbrella with her now? What do you think?
Good.
It's a good question, okay? Because somebody isn't going, obviously she doesn't have an umbrella, right? But that's a way that a student could get confused because she wishes she had brought. So they may think that the person brought an umbrella and they have one. But it actually means the opposite. It means that she doesn't have an umbrella with her.
Right.
Okay? Is she happy she didn't bring an umbrella?
Good.
Good.
It's good, okay? Because obviously this wish is like a regret. She's out in the rain, it's starting to rain, and she's going, I wish I had brought an umbrella. Okay? So she regrets the situation. Okay? What does she wish she had brought?
Bad.
It's bad. Why is it bad?
Target
It's using the target grammar. Okay? Is it raining?
Good.
Good.
It's good. Okay? Absolutely. Okay? Because obviously somebody isn't going to wish they had brought an umbrella. Okay? The main reason to have an umbrella is it's raining. Okay? Most of the time. Does she have a raincoat?
Irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. Okay? It doesn't help the student to understand. Okay? What about the third? What is the target grammar here?
Third conditional.
Third conditional, exactly, okay, which refers to past unreal situations, okay? What about the first? Would she have met him if she hadn't gone to the party?
Bad.
Bad, okay. Once again, the same reason, the target grammar, right? Does this refer to a hypothetical situation?
Good.
It's good, okay, because the third conditional obviously does. Did she go to the party?
Good.
Good. Did they meet?
Good.
Good, okay. Now these two questions are important Because a student might read the sentence and say, if she hadn't gone, wouldn't have met. So she may think that the person didn't go to the party and they didn't meet. But that's not what it means. It actually means completely the opposite. So those are two very important concept checking questions. What about the last? Did she like him?
Irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Okay. What about number 4? What's the target grammar?
Past continuous.
Past continuous. Okay. Absolutely. Okay. So with the first one, did she hear the phone ring?
Irrelevant.
Irrelevant. It doesn't matter if she heard it or not. Okay.
Okay.
What was she doing when the phone rang?
Bad.
Bad. Why is it bad?
Uses target.
You're using the target grammar again. Absolutely. Okay. Did she answer the phone?
Irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. And was she in the bath when the phone rang?
Good.
It's good, okay, because it helps the students to see that one action was happening when another interrupted it. Okay? All right, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 3 sentences up on the board. Okay, let me just erase my board for a moment. Okay? Let me give you these three sentences. Green. Alright, so the first is if I won the lottery, I would buy a big house. Okay. The second, Sally has worked for Business Links for 5 years. Okay. The third, my neighbor is painting his house. All right, let's have a look at these 3. Now with this first one here, if I won the lottery, I'd buy a big house, okay? What grammar is this?
The second condition.
Okay, the second condition, okay? Now the students looking at this sentence, how could they get confused? What could they think?
That they won the lottery.
That they won the lottery. That's probably the most common area for confusion, isn't it? Because here they're going to see the past tense. And they're going to think the person won it. And that it really happened. But obviously, that's not the case. Okay, so in terms of possible confusion.
Did he win the lottery? No.
Okay, in terms of possible confusion. Okay, here, okay, they might think that I won the lottery. When they didn't, okay, they might not understand that this refers to a hypothetical situation. What about here? What's the target grammar here?
Present
Present
perfect.
perfect.
Present perfect, okay, good. Okay, present perfect with like for or since. For and since, to refer to actions that began in the past and they still continue until now. How could the students get confused here?
That's just finished working. Sally's finished working with Business Links. Only 5 years.
Exactly. So they might
5
think
years
that
in
it's a
the past.
finished action, okay, in the past. Okay, and they may not understand that it's an action that still continues until now. What about my neighbor is painting his house? What is the grammar here?
Continue. Present
Present
continuous.
continuous, yeah.
Present continuous. Okay, good. Okay. What about here? Here, how could there be some confusion here on the students' parts?
They might
Maybe
finish
that.
painting the house.
They might think he's finished painting it. Okay, there's no context here, is there? Okay, my neighbor has painted his house. Could be, right? They may think it's a finished action. What else? Is it possible they could get it confused with the present simple?
Sure, my neighbor paints his house.
My neighbor paints his house, like something he normally does. Sure, could be. They might get it confused with like a routine action. Okay. Like with the present simple. Okay, could possibly be as well. All right. Well, what I'm going to get you to do is in pairs. Is I want you to make concept checking questions for these three. Okay. To not only eliminate these from the students' minds, okay, so they're not confused and thinking that this means a finished action, but so they also understand that the present perfect refers to an action that begins in the past and continues until now, okay? You probably only need maybe 3 questions probably for each one, I would estimate, something like that, okay? So can you in pairs try and make questions for those?
Did you win the lottery?
Yeah, did you win the lottery?
No.
Did you win the lottery? Or did I, rather? Does this...
All right, so let's have a look, okay? So with this one, if I won the lottery, I would buy a big house, okay? So what concept checking questions did you come up for this one?
Did you win the lottery?
Yeah.
Okay, did you win the lottery? Okay, good question. What else?
Did you buy a big house?
Did you buy a big house? Good. Okay, what else do we have?
Is this a possibility or a certainty?
Okay, is this a possibility or a certainty? Okay, anything else?
Is this
Do
a
you
real
want to buy a
situation?
house?
Do you want to buy a house? Good. Okay, sorry, Patricia.
Is this a real situation?
Good. Is this a real situation or a hypothetical situation? Good. Okay, absolutely. Okay, what about this one? What could you ask for this one? Okay,
When
Does
did
Sally work for Business Links now?
good. Does Sally work for Business Links now? Absolutely. Okay, what else?
When did you start working?
When did she start working there? Okay, in order to get the fact that it started 5 years ago. Okay, good. Okay. Now, what about this one? Okay, what can we ask to eliminate these two here?
Is this a completed action?
Okay, is it a completed action? Okay, good. Okay. What about for this one?
Does this action happen every day?
Does the action happen every day? Okay, good. Okay. Now that's going to eliminate these ones here from the students' minds in terms of confusion. Okay. But I don't know if that's going to narrow it down so that they understand when the present continuous is used, because obviously the present continuous is used to express an action that's happening right now. How can we ask a question to a student, okay, without using the target grammar, which is the present continuous, to get them to understand that this action is happening now? Any ideas? It's a tough one, isn't it?
Just
happening.
demonstrating
Is
that.
it happening now?
You just demonstrate that you're painting the whiteboard.
Right. Yeah, but demonstrating is not concept checking, right? So probably it's a hard one. I realize it, but probably the way that I would do it is I would say, is this action in progress?
In progress.
Okay, is this action in progress now?
Yeah.
Okay, by doing that, I'm not using the present continuous, but I'm showing them that the action is happening now, at the moment. Okay.
Was it?
These are the questions that I managed to come up with, okay? They're very similar to what you came up with, okay? Just so that, once again, I'm not saying that my questions are the only right questions, okay?
Is this past?
Okay.
Or is
You'll
it
notice that many of them are the same. Okay, did I win the lottery? Am I going to win the lottery? Am I going to buy a big house? Is it real or imaginary? Basically the same thing that you said. Does Sally still work for Business Links now? I think that was Brandon's exact question, okay? When did she start? Okay. Do you think my neighbor paints his house regularly? Is the action in progress, the one I just mentioned to you? Is he finished? Is it the past, present, or future? Okay. All right. So just some ideas, okay, in order to help the students, okay, to understand the grammar, so they're not confusing it with anything else, and they understand the use of the grammar. Now, remember I told you that when you're asking concept checking questions, if the student's level is here, you need to ask the questions here, right? Now, what happens if the student's level of English is here? What do you do then? Okay, it becomes much more complex, obviously. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a demonstration, okay, with you all to help you about how to concept check with very, very low levels, like beginners, okay? Let me just erase my board.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Okay. All right, so I'm going to do a demonstration with you. Okay, I want you to be my students again for a moment. Okay, I want you to imagine, okay, that I have just taught you the grammar point let's. Okay, and we're going to practice it a little. Okay. All right, so imagine you want to go to the supermarket. How can you make a suggestion?
Let's go to the supermarket.
Absolutely, okay. Imagine, okay, you want to go to the park. How can you make a suggestion?
Let's go to the park.
Good, okay. Imagine, okay, you want to go to the shopping center. What can you say?
Let's go to the shopping center.
Absolutely, okay. But imagine you want to muggle a wump. Okay, what can you suggest? You want to muggle a wump. How can you suggest that?
Let's muggle a wump.
Good, exactly. Listen to me. Let's muggle a wump.
Let's smuggle a wump.
Good. Everyone, let's smuggle a wump.
Let's smuggle a wump.
One more time, okay? Let's smuggle a wump.
Let's smuggle a wump.
Excellent, okay? So imagine you want to muggle a wump, so what do you say?
Let's smuggle a wump.
Good, okay? But you, Nick, you would much prefer to figgle a wimp. You would prefer to figgle a wimp. So how do you suggest that?
That's Figglewimp.
Good, exactly, okay? Everyone, let's figgle a wimp.
Let's figgle a wimp.
Okay, William?
Let's figgle a wimp.
Let's figgle a wimp. Good. Haggai?
Let's figgle a wimp.
Good, okay? Now imagine, Haggai, I approach you in a bar, and I say to you, okay, you and me, man, let's go figgle a wimp. What would you say to me?
That's Figgle.
I wouldn't say anything.
You wouldn't say anything. So you wouldn't accept. So you wouldn't accept then?
No, probably not.
Probably not. Okay, why wouldn't you accept?
Because I don't understand what you're saying.
Because you don't understand what I'm saying. Okay. Now, I want to ask you a question, okay? Now, with the structures that I gave you, the muggle wump and the figgle a wimp, okay, were you able to use them grammatically correctly with the structure let's?
Grammatically.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you used it correctly with let's. Were you able to pronounce them correctly?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, sure, you would. You did a good job pronouncing them, okay? Do you know when to use it, how to use it, or what it means?
Nope.
No. Okay, you have absolutely no idea. Okay? All right, so, now lots of times this can happen in the classroom, okay? Might it have appeared to me, the teacher, that you understood?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay, it looked to me as if you understood what was going on because you gave me the answer that I was looking for. Right? So this is a danger as well with teaching beginners, is sometimes beginners just blindly follow the teacher's model. Right? They're not understanding, but they just blindly follow what the teacher tells them. And they can kind of connect the dots and put two and two together the same way as you guys did and use the grammar correctly.
Yeah.
Okay? And the danger of that is that you, the teacher, think that they understand, but they don't. And as I told you earlier, will a group of students say they don't understand?
No.
No, they probably won't. Okay? They feel embarrassed because they think they're the only ones, right?
Right.
All right, I want to do another demonstration, okay? All right, so actually just before I give you another example, okay, I just want to tell you another story, something I almost forgot to tell you, okay? I remember I had a teacher come into Business Links to pick up her exams, okay? And she came in to get her exams. She had 3 students in a beginner level class, and she saw the first exam, and it was like 48%, 47%, 51%. All 3 of the students miserably failed the exam. So she was completely in shock. Now, I've had students fail myself before when I've taught, but it's never a shock to me. I can always see it coming. But she was in complete shock. She said to me, I can't understand it. They do so well in class. How can it be that they failed? Now, when she told me that, I was convinced that she was, as I like to call it, muggle-a-wumping in her class. Okay? She was getting her students to blindly follow models. It looked like everyone was understanding when they didn't understand anything. And she wasn't evident to her until they did the exam. Okay, well, let me do an example with you, okay? So, you're a stranger in a town. Stranger. You're a stranger in a town, and you want to go to a cinema. So you say, is there a cinema near here? Okay. So you're a stranger to town, you want to go to a cinema, so you say, is there a cinema near here? Okay? So imagine, you're a stranger to town, okay, and you want to go to a post office. What can you say?
Is there a post office near here?
Good, okay. You're a stranger in a town and you want to go to a park. What can you say?
Is there a park near here?
Good, okay. You're a stranger in a town, okay, and you want to go to a supermarket. What can you say?
Is there a supermarket near here?
Okay, absolutely. All right, now, what did you think of this, okay? Was I able to see if you, my students, understood?
No.
No.
No. Okay, why not? What was the problem with this?
You just kind of spoon fed it to us.
Okay, just spoon fed it too, absolutely, okay. Let me do this one more time, okay? I'll ask one more question, okay? Judd, I have a question for you, okay? You're a stranger in town and you want to go to a Muggle-a-Wump. What can you say?
Is there a Muggle-a-Wump near here?
Absolutely, okay. Brandon, you're a stranger in town, you want to go to a Figgle-a-Wimp. What can you say?
Is there a Figgle-a-Wimp near here?
Okay, absolutely, okay. Exactly the same thing as I just did with you before, right?
Blindly
The students could
follow.
just blindly follow the model. There's no thinking involved. There's no way for me to see if the students have understood or not, okay? Let me do another example with you, okay? Okay, so let's try another one. Okay, so, okay, you're a stranger. You're a stranger in a town, okay? And you want to, maybe I use a different color, see a film. Okay? So you say, is there a cinema? Is there a cinema near here? Okay, so let's try this one, okay? You're a stranger in a town, okay? And you want to buy some fruit. What can you say?
Where can I?
Oh,
Is
but,
there
Is there a fruit shop near here?
okay, is there a fruit shop near here? Okay. You're a stranger in a town and you want to buy some fruit. Another possibility?
Okay, is there a supermarket near here?
Good, okay. You're a stranger in a town, you want to buy some fruit. Patricia, another possibility?
is there a marker near here?
Sure. Is there a market near here? Okay. You're a stranger in town and you want a place to sleep.
Is there a hotel near here?
Is there a hotel near here? Okay. You're a stranger in town and you want a place to sleep.
Is there a hostel near here?
Is there a hostel near here? Okay. You're a stranger in town and you want a place to sleep.
Is there any motel around here?
Okay, absolutely. Okay. Now, with this example here, could I see if you, as students, understood?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, absolutely. Okay. Why? How was I able to see if you understood or not?
You gave them an extra piece of information that wasn't in the first one, to see a film.
So the
See a
film
film.
connects with the cinema.
Okay, exactly. So see a film connects with the cinema. Okay. Now maybe I might have done it with real students, and a real student might have said, "You're a stranger in town. You want to see a film," and the student said, "Is there see a film near here?" It's possible. But the difference is if they do that, I can see that the student hasn't understood, and I can deal with it
Right.
at that moment.
Yes.
With this one, I can't see if the students have understood or not.
Right.
Okay, that's the important. It's not so much that the students are going to give you the right answer or not. That's not what concept checking is always about. It's about seeing if the students have understood or not.
Right.
And if you can see that the students haven't understood, you can work with them and deal with it. But this you can't. Okay. Let me do one final demonstration with you. Okay. Okay. Imagine you've got a very strict mother. Every time that you leave the house, she says to you, "Where are you going?"
Oh.
Okay? So you've got a very strict mother. She says to you, "Where are you going?" The zoo.
Where are you going?
Yeah, where are you going?
No, but I want you to give me the response, okay?
Answer?
So you have a very strict mother. She says to you, "Where are you going?" The zoo.
I'm going to the zoo.
Okay, good, okay. You have a very strict mother. She says to you, "Where are you going?" Supermarket.
I'm going to the supermarket.
Good, okay. You have a very strict mother. She says to you, "Where are you going?" Hotel.
I'm going to the hotel.
Okay, absolutely. Okay. With that, what I just did with you, could I see if you, my students, understood or not?
No.
No.
No. Okay? Because I could have said, okay, you have a very strict mother. Okay, she says to you, where are you going? Mugglawump.
I'm going to Mugglawump.
Absolutely. Okay, again, it's the same thing. Student just blindly following a model. Okay? But let me make a slight change. Okay? You have a very strict mother. She says to you, where are you going? The zoo.
I'm going to the zoo
Good. Why?
because I want to see animals.
Okay. You have a very strict mother. She says to you, where are you going? Supermarket.
I'm going to the supermarket.
Okay, good. Why?
I have to buy some food.
Okay, absolutely. Okay. You have a very strict mother. She says to you, where are you going? Hotel.
I'm going to the hotel.
Good. Okay. Why?
'Cause I want to get some good rest and sleep without you.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Excellent. Okay. So, okay, by asking the question why, could I see you if you, my students, understood?
Yes.
Okay.
Why?
Just like making a small change. Okay. I could see if you understood me. Okay. So the most important thing is with concept checking with very low levels. Okay. You can't ask them a series of questions like you can with higher levels, okay? Because they don't have much grammar or vocabulary. They aren't going to understand you. As I said, there are levels at the floor. They don't understand anything. So what you have to do is you have to ask them questions which require the correct response. And if they give you the correct response, that shows you that they've understood. But you have to be careful. They have to be questions that are engineered very carefully. Because here you were giving me the right response, but it didn't involve any thinking on your part. Okay, you have to ask them questions that require a correct response, that require thinking on their part, like this one. Okay? All right, well, I just want to look at the last part. Okay, we've looked at concept checking vocabulary, we've looked at concept checking grammar. What was the last thing that you can use concept checking for? Do you remember? Vocabulary, grammar, and?
Instructions.
Instructions, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to look at concept checking instructions. Okay, so let me erase the board. All right, so I want to look at concept checking instructions. As I mentioned at the beginning of this workshop, it is also extremely important, as a great activity, okay, can fall apart if good instructions aren't given. Now there are basically two ways that you can concept check instructions. Okay, one, which is identical to concept checking vocabulary and grammar, is just asking a series of simple questions. Okay. But there is another way as well you can concept check instructions, okay? And it's called modeling the activity. What does that mean, modeling the activity? Can anyone explain that to me?
Acting it out.
Setting an example.
Acting it out, exactly, okay? Now, am I going to act it out with a strong student or a weak student? Strong student, okay. Why am I going to act it out with a strong student?
Because it's the
Because
model. It
you're
needs
showing
to
your mom.
represent.
Present
You
exactly.
want a
which
good
one.
model, exactly, okay? You want a good model, you want a correct model for the rest of the class to follow, okay? If you are teaching a very low-level class, which of these two approaches would you use?
Modeling.
Modeling, okay? Do you remember my German workshop, how I gave you instructions? I did this all the time, didn't I? Okay, I grabbed one of you, whoever happened to be here on the corners, okay? And I modeled the activity with you, and the rest of you were able to see, and you were able to understand and do what I wanted you to do, even though you didn't speak German, okay? It's the same thing. All right, so I have here an activity. Okay, let me just hand it out, and then I'll explain it to you, okay? It's a pre-intermediate activity. All right, now let me just explain to you this activity, how it works, okay? This activity is all cut up into little cards, okay? And all of the students receive the cards face down, okay? And in pairs, one student has to pick up the card and explain it to their partner without using the word on the card or without showing the card to their partner. So they have to say, for example, with tired, they'd have to pick up the card and say, okay, this is how you feel when you've had a really long day at work and you haven't slept much. And their partner has to get tired. And their partner takes one and repeats the activity again. It's exactly the same thing. Okay? Now I want to ask you, if the instructions are not clearly given to the students, okay, and they are not properly concept checked either, what could go wrong with this activity? Okay, what could be some possible problems? Okay, okay, what are some possible problems that could happen with that activity?
Students may show the card to the other partner.
Okay, so that's one problem. Okay, they might show the card to their other partner. What else?
They may accidentally or on purpose say the word that's on the card.
Okay,
They're
they
trying to
might
explain
say
it.
the word on the card. Okay, so a university is a place where people study. Okay, then the partner has to guess the word. Well, hell, they've already given it to them, right? Okay, so they might say the word on the card. Okay, what else?
They may not take turns.
Okay, they may not take turns, exactly. So for example, if these two are working together, he may describe everything and then he has to guess. So Haggai does most of the work, okay, and William just has to do the guessing, okay? So may not take turns. Not take turns. Anything else?
They may play charade, maybe just mime and.
Exactly, they may mime, okay? So instead of explaining tired, they may just go, okay, right, you know, okay,
What
what's
is
this? What's this, okay? You know, tired, right. So they may just mime, right? Which obviously defeats the purpose of the activity because the activity is for them to speak in English, not to act or mime, right? Okay. So would any of these problems, would they be big problems or small problems in this activity?
Big.
They would all be big problems, wouldn't they? Okay, it's a great activity, okay? But if any of these things happen, the activity unfortunately would go downhill in a hurry, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you instructions for that activity, okay? And I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to do it this way, just to show you both ways of doing it, okay? All right, so let's start, okay? So imagine I gave you each in pairs a set of cards, okay? So all of you have cards, okay? All right, and so you're student A, student B, student A, student B, A, B, A, B. Okay. So, okay. Student A is going to pick up one card. Only one card. Okay. Student A is going to explain the word on his card to his partner. But student A cannot use the word on the card in his explanation. Okay. Student B has to guess the word. When student B guesses the word correctly, then student B takes the next card and repeats the process. Okay? So, I want to ask you, okay, who picks up the card first, student A or student B?
A.
A. Okay. How many cards do you pick up at a time?
One.
One card. Okay. After you pick up a card, what do you do next?
You
Describe
describe
what
You
it is.
describe the
Without
card.
using the
Okay.
word.
Can you say the word that's on the card?
No.
No. Can you show your partner the card?
No.
Okay. What does your partner have to do?
Guess.
Guess the word on the card. After your partner guesses the word, what happens next?
He picks up the card and
Picks up the card.
it's his
And?
turn.
Take turn.
It's his turn.
Takes
And
turn.
it's his turn. Okay, exactly. All right, so that's how I could do it this way. Okay. All right, let me do it this way. All right, so two of us, a guy, okay, are going to do this activity. Okay. So can you take the first card, okay, but hide it, okay, I don't want to see it, okay, exactly, and make sure that you don't say the word that's on the card. Can you explain to me what the word is on the card, please?
It's your brother's wife.
Ah, brother's wife, sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to take one. Okay, I'm not going to let you see. Okay, and I'm going to explain it to you. Okay, this is on your head. Okay, you comb it in the morning. Okay, and I don't have much of it.
That would be here.
Hair, absolutely, excellent. Okay, all right. So now, which of the two? Both are possible, but which of the two do you think is the most effective?
Modeling.
Modeling,
Model
okay.
one.
Even with advanced levels, this is probably more effective because the thing that happens with advanced levels, the activities become more complex, okay, more difficult to understand and more difficult to explain. So it's much easier just to model the activity with the student, okay. Now, the most important thing that I want you to walk away from this workshop today is the following, okay? You always have to make sure in your classes that your students understand. Even if you do a horrible job of teaching, and you don't do a good job, if you at least check if they've understood or not, you can keep trying to correct the problem until you finally get them to understand, okay? Do you or would you ever ask the question, do you understand in the classroom?
No.
No, okay? So if you ever catch yourself wanting to say, do you understand? Is that clear? Yes? Or anything of that nature, stop yourself. And ask questions that will ensure and show you that your students have really understood, okay? All right, well, thank you very much for your time, okay? And we'll see you all again tomorrow, okay? Bye-bye. All right, so as you've seen in this video, I've really shown the teacher trainees that the words or the phrase, do you understand, can't be used in the classroom. It doesn't show the students that they've understood. I've also showed the importance of checking understanding of vocabulary, of grammar, of instructions. It's an extremely important part of teaching. And many teachers don't consider it when they're teaching. They think that their students are going to understand them, and they tend to forget that English is a second language for them. And they're not going to understand everything that the teacher says. And for that reason, it's extremely important to concept check and make sure that the students are following the teacher at all times. If not, a great class can completely fall apart and the students can leave the classroom thinking they understand when really they don't, which is a complete disaster.